I've lost my little boy, William.
William Tyrrell.
Who vanished near his grandmother's Kendall home more than 3.5 years ago.
If I didn't think I was the right person for the job, I would have readily put my hand up and say, hey, but that wasn't the case.
You spend 30 minutes of your time walking through thick bushland looking for a child.
I had to be escorted in. I felt like Hannibal Lecter. It was ridiculous.
I was taken off the investigations and I could no longer continue to support victims and lock up the bad guys.
Sometimes principle is more important than anything. If I'm that bad, send me to jail.
You mentioned William Tyrrell, and that was the last case you worked on in your career, in a 34-year career before you resigned.
Yeah.
Tell me how you came to resign, and you were obviously very passionate about the Tyrrell matter.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how you ended up resigning and how you were able to kind of step away from that case.
Personally, I still haven't stepped away from the case. It's very, very dear to me, and I sincerely hope we find out what's happened to William. The families deserve it, and I think society deserves to find out what happened to William. I led the investigation for 4 years. I was a Detective Chief Inspector, so I was overseeing the whole investigation. I took the investigation over 5 months after William disappeared, worked on it for 4 years. My demise from my career, it did cost me my career, was there was allegations against me and that I had illegally recorded conversations with a person I was speaking to about William's matter.
Gary Jubelin here from the police.
With the knowledge of fellow officers, Gary recorded 4 conversations.
I'm not getting the truth from you, and that causes me concern.
That's the thing.
Whether it was an accident or whether it was just brain snap for a moment, we can resolve this. I'd make no apologies. It's public record. I've just accepted my fate, but I've been convicted. People want me to say that I was wrong, I shouldn't have done it. I'm not going to say that because I wouldn't be truthful. I explained the reason that I recorded the conversations. I didn't hide the fact I recorded the conversations and gave an explanation, but powers that be decided that what I did was wrong when the allegations were first put to me. On the Monday, I went to Newcastle overseeing a murder there, so I was, for all intents and purposes, a working detective. And then on Tuesday, I get notified at 4 o'clock in the afternoon by the Commander of Homicide that Internal Affairs or Professional Standards are there to see me, and then they executed search warrants on my phones, took my gun off me, took my car keys off me, and basically my life was never the same from that point. I walked out of the police station about 6 o'clock that night. I hadn't been charged, just the allegations put to me. I said I'm happy to talk, I'm happy to answer any allegations. And then for the next 3 months I was put in a room. It was almost like out the front of the headmaster's office, where people could walk past and see me, and I felt like a caged lion. No access to investigations, taken off everything, not allowed to speak to anyone in homicide, an area I'd worked in for over 20 years. It was humiliating. It made me angry, but I just want to clarify, I don't hate the police. I still love New South Wales Police, but there were certain people in there that just went at me. I could see the writing on the wall, so I said, I'm going to resign. I was told that I wouldn't be charged. Then I'd been overseas, I came back, and a couple of hours after I land, I'm told that the police are after me and they want to charge me.
Yet anything you say or do will be recorded and may be used in evidence. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand.
The investigation into the disappearance of William Tyrrell, in my view, will now struggle to get anywhere. And I think that's really, really something that people should hang their head in shame about.
And do you think that is a direct result of taking Gary Jubelin off the case?
Yes.
This is a head start we've got with an investigation that you don't get with a lot of investigations. I talk about it from a deeply personal point of view, but the thing that upsets me more than anything is the fact that the focus should be on, it was an investigation into William Tyrrell. A 3-year-old child had been abducted. And it's embarrassing for me to even sit and whinge about what's happened to me when the families, the biological and the foster family, what they're going through with William's disappearance.
He never wanders.
Yes.
He's not a wanderer. Where is he? Where's he gone?
Yeah, hi, my son is missing. He's 3.5. Okay. Sorry?
Your address?
Centeroon Drive, Kendall.
So just to clarify for people, the charge and the conviction is for making illegal recordings of a suspect or a alleged suspect in the matter?
Yeah, there was a person I was speaking to that was lawfully approved listening devices. There was 4 charges. On 3 of the charges, listening devices were approved by Supreme Court judges at the premises where I was recording. But there had been a history of those recording devices failing for a variety of reasons, equipment failure or human failure, and the devices weren't working. I was going in to have a fairly, I won't say heated, but a fairly important conversation on my own, because that was deemed the appropriate strategy.
Wouldn't the normal thing to be to report back to the family saying, I couldn't find him up there, or at the very least, go up and see if he's been found? Well, you weren't even curious. You go in there and have a cup of tea.
I don't have to be curious when I can hear everybody else looking for the little boy.
I was worried that he could make allegations against me. I had a sense that there was people within the police undermining me. I didn't have the confidence that I would be supported by that. So I chose to record those conversations on my phone, of all things. And I got to laugh because I'm the most technical, inept person there is to record on phones. And I had to get people within the strike force to show me how to record on the phone. So I didn't make any secret of it. No evidence came out in court that I hid it from anyone, didn't make any secret of it. And so I was surprised as anyone when, an allegation was put to me about it. I thought it was a storm in a teacup, and that's what I was told by senior police. But then it just seemed to just escalate, and found myself in court defending myself for a 2-week hearing.
I was not allowed to carry out duties. I was taken off the investigations I was leading, and I could no longer continue to support victims and lock up the bad guys like I've done throughout my career.
Was there ever a risk you could do prison time?
I think it was during the district court, and I had said publicly I'd rather go to jail than pay a fine, because I'd been fined $10,000. Now people go, are you kidding? Like, I know I'm not going to be that popular in jail. Nothing personal, it was just, So I knew, that's not somewhere where I wanted to go. But I was that pissed off with the fact that I was being fined for doing police work. This is not me going out doing something outside the police. This is not me doing anything other than working, trying to find out what happened to William. But then I look at the paper, and there I'm on the front page of the paper, headlines, I'd rather go to jail. And people ask me, am I serious about it? And yes, I am serious about it. Sometimes principle is more important than anything. And there was a principle to this that, if I'm that bad, send me to jail. Why should I pay a fine for doing police work? So, some people say that's dumb. I would have to agree if I'm looking from the outside, but from my perspective, I think that was the right way to deal with it.